So, you want to get truly lean. I'm talking visible abs, defined muscles, the whole deal. It's a goal so many people have, right? But the vast majority of people who try, they fail. In this explainer, we're going to break down why it's so incredibly difficult and show you a mindset that can actually make it feel, believe it or not, pretty easy.
Our source material kicks off with this pretty provocative quote. Now, obviously it's a bit tongue-in-cheek, but it gets at a deeper truth, doesn't it? Achieving this kind of physique is an intense, all-in pursuit. It's often seen as this ultimate test of discipline.
So that brings us to the real question. Losing the first few pounds is one thing, but why do so many of us hit a wall? A wall that we just can't seem to break through to get really lean. And look, the answer isn't that you lack willpower. It's that you're probably misunderstanding the problem completely.
Yeah, it all comes down to misunderstanding the very nature of the challenge. Our source calls this the exponential diet problem. See, the difficulty doesn't just add up week by week, it multiplies.
And this quote just nails it. Our brains, they're wired to think in straight lines. We assume week 10 of a diet will be just a little bit tougher than week 9. But that assumption is totally, completely wrong. And it's exactly why so many people give up.
Let me make this real for you. Check out this chart. It shows what happens to a single dollar of credit card debt at just 2% daily interest. After a month, whatever. After 2 months, it's a little bump. But fast forward 5 years, whoa, it explodes into this massive mountain of debt. It starts off slow and then it goes vertical.
And that is exactly how dieting feels. The hunger, the cravings, the mental fog, they don't just add up, they compound, they multiply. By week 10, you're not just a little hungry, you're literally dreaming about pizza because you've hit that impossibly steep part of the curve. People fail because they don't see this freight train coming. But once you understand it, you can finally prepare for it.
So how do you actually manage that insane curve? Well, the very first strategy is to outsmart the stuff that's designed to make you fail. And that all starts with avoiding what our source hilariously calls protein slop. You see the word protein slapped on everything these days, right? It's the ultimate marketing buzzword. But protein slop is all that ultra-processed stuff. The bars, the cereals, the snacks. They're engineered in a lab to be ridiculously delicious and super easy to just keep eating. But they do almost nothing to actually make you feel full. They are literally designed to keep you hungry.
Just look at the difference here. It's night and day. A protein bar on the left, gone in 10 seconds. A real piece of chicken breast on the right, that takes 10 minutes to chew and eat. One is addictive and triggers more cravings. The other actually signals to your brain that you're full. The key is choosing foods that satisfy you, not ones that get you hooked.
This little matrix shows you exactly where you want to be. That top left box, high taste, low satiety, that's the danger zone. That's where the protein bars live. You want to spend all your time in the bottom right. High satiety, with a taste that's good, but not so good you can't stop eating it. Our source says seasoned tofu is a perfect example.
Okay, so you've cleaned up your food choices. You're avoiding the slop. But what happens when that exponential hunger really starts to kick in? That's when you need a whole new set of tactics. And these aren't just suggestions. They are non-negotiable rules for that final, brutal stretch.
And there are two really big ones. First, you absolutely have to track everything you eat. No exceptions. And second, you need to start eating your water, not just drinking it. Let's break down what that means.
So why is tracking so critical? Here's the thing. When you get really hungry, your brain starts to lie to you. It's a survival mechanism. It'll tell you that handful of almonds was way smaller than it was, and that serving of broccoli was much bigger. Meticulous tracking is your only defense against this kind of self-sabotage. You simply cannot guess your way to being shredded. It doesn't work.
Now for that second rule. Everyone, and I mean everyone, says just drink more water to feel full. And yeah, that works for about 5 minutes. But when you're deep into a diet, it just stops working. And why is that? Because plain liquid, even sparkling water or diet soda, it flushes out of your stomach in less than 10 minutes. It's a temporary distraction, not a real solution to hunger.
This is the secret weapon, eating your water. Solid foods that are packed with water stay in your stomach for way longer, which makes you feel much fuller. And look at this, it's not just fruit. A potato is almost 80% water. This is how you create real volume and fullness in your stomach for very, very few calories. It's a game changer.
All right, we've talked a lot about food tactics, but honestly, that's maybe half the battle. The other, much harder half is fought entirely inside your own head. You have to actively manage your mind, not just what's on your plate. So here are 3 simple but crazy powerful strategies to win that mental game. First, just stay busy.
An idle mind obsesses over food. Second, get rid of temptation. If the Oreos aren't in your house, you can't eat them at midnight. Simple. And third, and this might sound counterintuitive, eat less often.
And that last point, eating less often, might sound crazy, but this quote just nails the reason why. Think about it. Grazing all day on tiny little snacks means that hunger gate is constantly cracked open, leaving you feeling hungry and unsatisfied all day long. It is so much more effective to eat 2 or 3 larger, actually satisfying meals. That lets you shut the gate and just forget about food for hours.
Okay, this brings us to the final and maybe the most important piece of the whole puzzle. It's the one thing that really ties everything else together, and it's about reframing the idea of patience, not as some passive virtue, but as an active, critical strategy for success.
And here's the huge paradox. In almost every other area of your life, your career, learning a new skill, obsessing and grinding harder and harder leads to faster results. But with getting lean, that same intensity will be your downfall. Obsessing over food when you're already starving is a guaranteed recipe for failure.
So what does success actually look like? Well, I hate to break it to you, but it's kind of boring. It's this simple, repeatable loop. You weigh in, you hit your food goals, you work out, you sleep, and you do it all over again. It's about automating the process to minimize the number of times you can mess up. This is about quiet, relentless consistency, not some heroic effort.
So, when you really boil it all down, that's the key. Getting lean isn't about some magic food or a secret workout plan. It's about understanding the exponential nature of the challenge and then choosing the right strategy to deal with it. So the real question you have to ask yourself is this: are you playing the short game of obsession, or are you ready to play the long game of patience?